over here. All right, everybody, welcome to our second session here, our second live transmission in the 4-part series that is called Embodied Ascension 101. Today we are getting into all things emotional alchemy. You guys, I'm really pumped for today. Lori, been pumped since Friday. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Candace is here, David is here. So good to see you guys. Okay, so a couple pieces of housekeeping really quick, right? Let's get all that tech stuff out of the way so that we can just focus and be present and have fun. Number one, chat box. Make sure you guys are, I know you have to do it every time. It's like a little bit whatever, but I'm going to choose to know the perfection in it, right? Panelists and attendees, make sure that little blue bar above where you type in your comments says panelists and attendees. This way you can all see each other's comments. If you keep it on panelists, then only I see it, which is totally okay with me. But I like for you guys to be able to connect and read each other's comments because I feel like it allows for just more of the community feel. I feel like it allows for you guys to really be able to see how not alone you are in this process, right? Like it's awesome for me, but of course too, I don't always get to read every single comment live time fully. And so this way you guys are at least seeing each other's comments and connecting in that way. So that's the first piece. Number two, you guys know that I love engagement and connection. And so I just really invite you all to be here, be present, take this hour and a half, we'll probably go, to just really give yourself this experience, right? And of course, I understand if you're at work and you're kind of ducking out to hear this, or there really is stuff you have to go and do. That's why you're going to get the replays. But while you are on this live, be here, be present, shut down the other windows, put your phone aside, unless of course you're watching on your phone. Grab yourself a notebook, grab yourself a journal, something tasty to drink, water, tea, coffee, depending on where you are in the world and what time it is. And crystals, anything at all that's going to really let you drop in and relax. We are going to be doing a deeper activation process today. I'm going to be doing an emotional alchemy process on you. So we're going to be in an activation for a longer chunk of time. So if there are any beautiful crystals or a journal or anything, little candle, essential oils, anything at all, go ahead and grab that for yourself, right? Really let yourself be here, be now. A note on the replays, you guys may have already noticed you have the link for where all the replays are going to live. That got sent out with the first day's replay. I will be sending it out again for you all. You can also find this in the Facebook group, the Rebel Soul Collective Facebook group. And so all of the replays are going to be living at that one link, and that will be up by later today. So I do highly encourage you all to go back in and watch these transmissions, receive the activations a couple of times, because remember, right, we are clearing out lifetimes, years of programming and density. And we're going to be going a lot more into this today because it's so connected to the emotions and the energy. So you guys are going to have a really awesome understanding by the end of today of what is happening. So session 1 and session 2, the physical alchemy and the emotional alchemy, really go hand in hand, right? They really are interconnected. So between the two, you're going to have a really wonderful understanding around this process that we're in, how it affects us, and how it's moving us into being more conscious, heart-centered creators of our reality, right? And then on Friday, when we do the mental alchemy, you guys are going to get the piece around how we create through our mind. So I'm excited about all of it. And then, of course, our 4th session is going to be about how we take it all and we look at our whole life experience and our pain and our struggles and how we move that into our purpose. So give me a yes in the comments if you know you want to know your purpose, right? If you know that you're here for the higher picture, the bigger picture, not just your own evolution, but also doing your part, right? To step into like, what is your purpose? What is your mission? What are you here for? What is it all about, right? Yes. I know I got the right crowd. Beautiful. And beyond that, you guys know, I always give the disclaimer. There is no information that is off limits when we are doing my transmissions and activations and conversations. And if I ever share something that maybe you don't agree with or it bothers you, I invite you to use that as an opportunity to go within and see what it is about that piece of information that bothers you or triggers you, right? Because that's the thing. A lot of times, the things that poke at us and trigger us are usually the things that also hold the keys to our freedom. All right. So I'm totally not saying that you have to agree with or believe everything I tell you. But I invite you to hold it in your field and explore it to the best of your ability and then decide what is true from you. I never want to tell anybody what to think. I want you guys to all come to your own expanded perspectives, and that comes through expansion of consciousness. So, that being said, we might talk about everything from aliens to quote unquote conspiracies to Jesus, to religion, to culture, right? There is nothing that I won't use when I feel like it serves to give you all the picture of what is happening in the world. Because I am very microcosm and macrocosm, and I see the patterns in all things, and I see the connections, right? That's what I like to be able to pass on to all of you, right? I like to share the little ahas and the things that kind of show me what the hell is going on and what this process is that we are in. And that being said, questions, last piece of housekeeping, questions. You guys know, ask your questions in the chat while we're going through. If I can answer them right then and there, I will. If not, I'll totally come back and I will answer them later on for you towards the end after we do our activation. Cool. And then of course at the very end too, I will just invite you guys, if you're really feeling this and you loved the emotional alchemy and you know that you're ready to go deeper and you know that you want to just take this and jump into it and do the work, I will of course leave you a link so we can book a chat in and talk about what it would look like for you to come and join my group program or work with me one-on-one. Cool. That being said, is everybody still ready to go? You guys feel like you're in the right place? All right, today we're talking about emotional alchemy. All right, so I got some notes again, right? So really our intention here today, okay, the higher purpose, the kind of the intention that I have like placed into the grid of today's transmission is that we're coming together to see the role of emotions and energy, and especially our stuck emotions or our traumas, and how these things play a role in what we're creating, right? So I would love to know in the comments who is already aware that they have particular emotional patterns, and maybe you already know what experience they're connected to, and maybe you don't know yet but you're curious, but you already know that you have particular emotional patterns that are continuously popping up in your life or that keep repeating, right? Last week we talked a lot about, our physical experience, and this week it's kind of the emotional experience, right? Like maybe some of you have dealt with anxiety or depression, or maybe you constantly find yourself feeling abandoned or feeling lied to, right? Whatever it might be, right? But and it might even be to the positive, that you're already seeing to the positive too, your emotional patterns. Definitely see the patterns, Lori, right? So there's a key thing that happens, right? Before we get into it, one of the things that stands out most clearly to me, I'm going to share a little story with you guys. I remember when about 7 years ago, right, when I was getting sober, I had this rapid awakening. I told you guys a little bit of that story last week. So I had this like rapid awakening, right? I had driven my life into the ground. I was suffering. I was struggling. I had had cancer. I was addicted to drugs. I was homeless. I was broke. I had dealt with depression, anxiety. I definitely had PTSD, right? There was just all these things that were like, here's a big struggle sandwich. And that was my life. And I had this moment of awakening. And in this moment of awakening, I started to understand, okay, I don't know anything about life, and I'm ready to try it somebody else's way. I'm ready to stop pretending I know, and I'm ready to try it somebody else's way. And I did. And everything started to accelerate for me after that. And I remember very, very specifically, I had this moment where I was so into journaling that first year that I got off drugs, like after my awakening. Right. And I would just journal and I would journal and I would journal. And I was reading all of these Buddhist books at the time, a lot of books by Thich Nhat Hanh and Pema Chodron, who are both Buddhist monks. And they're very relatable. And they were very, very helpful to me in the beginning of my journey to start helping me to understand my emotions. Right. And the thing is I had this awakening. And I started to understand that maybe I didn't know anything about how to live my life. And I was sick and tired of driving my life into the ground, right? I was tired of feeling like shit. I was tired of getting in trouble. I was tired of being frustrated. I was tired of all these things, okay? And as I started along my awakening journey, I still didn't have the full picture of exactly how I was creating. Right. And I remember very clearly this moment where I recognized, okay, you guys ready for this? It was the moment that I first recognized I had contradictory beliefs and desires, and that I was creating from that place. And I recognized it in the way of relationships, okay? Because there I was, and I was doing all this awakening work and this soul work and this heart chakra work. And I was realizing like I'm deeply sensitive and I feel so deeply, right? And I want to be connected with people. And I then realized that I was playing this story of how nobody was ever available to me. People weren't there for me. They weren't emotionally available. And in the very next line of my journaling, I then recognized that I was actually the one that was emotionally unavailable. And anytime someone came into my life who was emotionally available, I kind of labeled them as like needy. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I can't deal with you and your emotions. Doesn't matter whether it was a friend, a partner, a boyfriend, whatever. I was like, no, 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 no. Those emotions got to go. You can't need me. Right. I didn't want anybody to need me. And I didn't want anybody dumping their emotions all over me because I didn't know how to deal with it. Okay. So I recognized in that moment that I was doing this thing where I was like, oh, come here. I want to be loved. I want to be connected. I want friends. I want partners. But at the same breath, I was pushing them away because I also didn't want the emotions, right? And what was underneath that, of course, was fear and trying to protect myself from that place of trauma, right? But do you guys see that? It's the contradictory thing, right? And you guys, we do this everywhere in our lives, right? We do it everywhere. We do it with money, we do it with partners, we do it with health, we do it with expression, we do it with freedom, right? So can anybody relate to that? Wanting something with one hand and pushing it away with the other. Anybody else relate to that, right? Can anybody? And it's like, this is the stuff that we do from those emotional belief systems. Yep, 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 right? It hits home. Good. Awesome. Definitely relate to that. Right. And see, so 3D, all right, you guys, we also have some slides today. So the third dimension, bring up my slides for y'all so I don't just not even give them to you. Okay. We're doing it. Here we go. We're going to come back to this one in a second. We're going to go here for a moment. I'm just going to bring up the chat so I can still see you all commenting. Okay. Everybody relates. Good. So the third dimension, right? This realm, this matrix, right? This matrix of control here. This is what we're leaving behind. We're currently in this portal, in this bridge, right? Which is where all potentials exist. Like we can go anywhere from here. You guys remember from Friday's session, right? My drawing, depending on where our mind and emotions are at, that's going to depend where in that 4D we go. And then we're heading for more soul embodiment and heart-centeredness. But we have to get and learn how our mind and our emotions contribute to what we're creating to understand why we're going to all these freaking crazy timelines while we're in the fourth dimensional field and all of these possibilities are available to us. So what I would love to know from you all as well lately, as we're going through this ascension process, have you all noticed yourselves calibrating or fluctuating rapidly between like realities and timelines where they can be like polar opposites? Like one day you're like, yeah, like I'm here and I'm totally aligned and everything's flowing, and it's like the very next day or even 5 hours later you feel like you've landed back in like some other fucking timeline reality where you're like, what the hell is going on here, right? Like, have you guys noticed that? That might actually be in your physical, your external environment. It might be just in how you feel. It might be in your mindset. It might be in your energy level. It might be like what's happening. It could be like, in one moment you're just flowing, you're getting all the green lights and everything's working out. And then like 3 hours later, it's like, you're in the reality where there's just roadblocks everywhere. Has anybody else experienced this lately? Right? Give me a guess if you have experienced that rapid kind of shifting and oscillation between. I asked myself, what the fuck just happened? Exactly. Right? Because it's literally like, here's the thing, right? You guys, if we don't understand what's going on, it's like, wait a second. How the hell was I just like cruising down like a boss, the boss of my life, feeling empowered, feeling positive, and then the next moment I feel like I can't even like get up and like handle my business, right? It's like, so this is because we're in that fourth dimensional field, and based on our emotions and our frequency and our vibration, that's going to determine where we're going. Now, please, 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 okay, if you take nothing else from today, I want you all to understand that it doesn't matter if you're in like the highest, best, most fun timeline, or the timeline that you're like, oh my God, I'm in pain and I can't stop crying, and maybe whatever it is, you guys, it's perfect, right? You're not doing it wrong because maybe you're in a timeline where you're getting all the red lights and nothing is flowing, okay? Please get that, because there is this very false kind of light inverted uh, matrix out there, if you will, template out there, if you will, when it comes to like law of attraction and manifestation and conscious creation, that like if it's not always flowing and going perfectly, you're doing it wrong, or you're messing it up, or you're not a good manifester, or you can't create. You guys, 100% that's not true. Or like you're not ascending, right? Oh, you feel bad, so you're not ascending. Like I had somebody ask me, like somebody told them if they ate meat, they're not going to ascend. And I'm like, oh my God, no. Right? It's not even about that. It's like, it's not about what we do. It's why, right? This process is happening regardless. It's just our choices are going to determine how this process unfolds for us. Okay. But please get, so you make a series of choices, and that series of choices puts you into such a certain frequency or vibration. You have this experience over here that maybe feels like crap. How do you know that that experience isn't perfect for you? Because chances are that experience is exactly what you needed, even if it didn't feel good, right? Maybe there was something there to clear. Maybe there was a trauma to be released. Maybe there was a stuck emotion to be released. Maybe you received some codes. Maybe something was activated in you. Maybe you met a person that's going to open something up later on. We just never, never, never know. Right. And we tend to have this idea that like it's always supposed to be the perfect smooth highway with the green lights and the flow of traffic. That means we're consciously creating, we're manifesting, and we're ascending. No, because in all actuality, it's this process now of the cracking open and releasing all of the density that we have held onto for generations and lifetimes, that's actually ascension. That's what's allowing us to hold more of our high frequency light in physicality, anchoring it into the earth plane so that we can become and evolve into being fully fifth dimensional beings. Okay. So to come back for a moment, I want to talk to you all about these stages of this process of alchemy and ascension. Okay. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Back here, the 4 light keys of ascension first, and then we'll do the stages. Okay. So this series that we're doing, that you guys are all part of here, 4 light keys, right? You're receiving these 4 light keys. Each of these 4 light keys are the foundation of the full portal program that I'm taking people on as a group. Okay. Y'all getting the foundation, you're getting the initial activations. What you do next will be up to you, right? Some of you will know that you want to come and do the full and receive the full codes and activations that go along with this process, right? So you'll come and do the program. Um, but even it doesn't matter, right? Everybody who comes and works with me, my clients, they're all doing this series as part of their work with me. So I want you all to understand that what you're getting in these 4 webinars, these activations, is like, this is foundational work for you. This is powerful, beautiful stuff that's going to allow you guys to start anchoring in to much, much, much higher perspectives in your own consciousness. Okay. So these 4 parts, these layers, these light keys, right, is physical alchemy, right, which we started off with in webinar 1. That's the body going through its journey so it can be grounded and present and release all of that stuff out of the physical form. Emotional alchemy and ascension, which we're talking about today, right? This is the purging of all that density to create space for more high frequency light in the energetic and emotional field. Right? This creates, when we heal the trauma and we move the energy and we do the alchemy around our emotional loops, that's what allows space for us to then reprogram the subconscious and move into the mental alchemy, right? Where we can then align the conscious and subconscious mind and understand how we're creating. That's going to be on Friday. And then from all of that, we get to move into the recognition of who we are from an expanded consciousness perspective, right? Understand our power and then recognize and embody our soul purpose, because our soul purpose comes from the alchemy of those other pieces, right? Those lower layers, the physical, mental, and emotional. When we do the alchemy, that's what weaves itself into our purpose, because we're actually also activating dormant parts of our DNA, our actual DNA, through doing this work, right? We're unbinding and unwinding DNA that has been contracted in fear, trauma, and matrix programs, right? And that's what allows us to start really fully moving up and embodying and understanding who we are and what we're here to do. We can't do that until we expand our perspective. Okay, right? I see way too much in coaching and healing and new age teaching and the spiritual communities. Way too much I see people waking up and trying to go immediately to purpose. I understand that it's noble, the desire to want to do that, right? Because we all just want to help. However, that desire is getting manipulated and people are being pulled into like the grid of bypassing, thinking they don't have to do anything, physically, mentally, or emotionally. They're just going to jump up here. And what ends up happening is they're disconnected, they're disembodied. That process we talked about last week of the higher consciousness descending and the body ascending, it gets all mucked up and they're walking around not embodied, which means they can't actually hold the results or hold the space down for other people and truly anchor in the codes that they're here to anchor in. That's why this work is so important. Okay. And then mentally and emotionally, it's so important because we want to be able to step into our purpose, whatever it is, with a clear channel, right? This work is so important because imagine if I was stepping in here to work with you all or work with my clients from a place of not having healed my traumas. What do you guys think that might look like? Right? What do you think it might look like? It might be a hot fucking mess, right? Does anybody relate to having the tendency to people please or to rescue or to take on other people's crap? Anybody? Anybody? Raise your hands. Say yes, right? All my life. Okay, perfect, right? Yes, yes, yes. Hell yes. Hell yes, right? Okay, you guys, and here's the thing, right? Here's what's funny, because when we're doing that, what do we do in our minds, you guys? Let's just be real and be honest, right? Like let's just lay it all out. When we're doing that, what do we do in our minds? Oh, like I'm such a good person. Look at how nice I am. Look at all the stuff I do for people, right? We really use it, and I'm being funny and I'm poking fun at it, but it's real, right? We do that. We toot our own horn and we use it and it gets caught up. So it's not a bad thing. Please get this isn't judgment. We're natural givers. We have big hearts and we care. Okay. But that natural giving, that big heart, that pure soul, and that caring gets distorted by the matrix. It gets hijacked and it gets distorted by the matrix programs and our own unhealed trauma, because when we're in trauma, we're right for the matrix programs. It's like the matchup. Okay. It's like, right, when a baby is made, right, there's the egg, there's the sperm. For whatever reasons beyond, sometimes an egg is viable, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the sperm works, sometimes it doesn't, right? It's the same thing. When we're in that like contracted trauma place, we're like prime to receive the matrix control programs, right? And then we start running them, and then we keep running them, and then our natural beautiful gifts, like being a pure soul and a kind soul and a giving soul, it all gets distorted and it gets jammed up and it gets all wrapped up in like a need to save and rescue and take on other people's shit, right? And we learn to do that as a way to get love and survive. Now, could you imagine going into your purpose, whether it's helping others, teaching others, writing books, creating art, whatever it might be, from that place of inferiority, people pleasing, needing everybody's approval? Can you guys imagine what that would look like? It would be a hot mess, right? And you see this in coaching and healing. I see healers that are overwhelmed because they don't know how to put up boundaries, and they take on their clients' stuff, and they're like exhausted and tapped out. So they're doing healing work for other people, being the channel for other people, but at their own expense, because they won't go in and do the deeper healing alchemy to actually move them into an aligned, empowered place of true soul power and recognition. Now, I'm not judging this, because for all I know, it's serving a purpose. All I know is that it doesn't work for me, and that I want to create and support other people that want to move into their purpose, to do it from a place of empowerment and clarity and purity, right? Because I've had enough of this inverted, flipped on its head bullshit that we've been living in, pardon my language, of the matrix, but like I've just had a fucking enough of it, right? And I don't want to watch others, gifted, beautiful, pure souls who are here to do their magic and live their lives. I don't want to watch people suffer anymore, right? That's coming from my pure heart. However, just because I don't want to watch people suffer anymore doesn't mean I'm going to jump in and try to rescue them, because I know that I can't. I understand that they are sovereign, divine creators in their own right, and every one of you has a choice, right? I only understand this because I've done my own alchemy work, right? I'm only able to do that, to hold center, hold up the mirror, hold up the channel, because I've cleared that stuff out, so that I'm not jumping into the puddle drowning with you, right? Spewed all over in the last month. I can't ignore it anymore. Lori, you're in the right place. So that's the thing, you guys. All right, cool. So we've got all four of these light keys, all four of these layers, right? You guys are getting the foundation through this series, right? You're all getting activated, and then you're going to get to choose what comes next for you, and you'll be led there. This is also where you start to recognize that you don't have to know the how from here. There is a fucking infinite intelligence waiting to guide us. But because we've been so asleep in the matrix, we haven't learned and recognized and remembered that that infinite intelligence is waiting to guide us. Okay, cool. How's this landing for you guys so far? Good? I think we're doing good on time. Let me check. Okay, 105. We're doing really good on time. I got a lot I want to give you guys today, and then of course do our beautiful activation and healing. So we go through these stages of alchemy. Now, please get this graphic here applies to whatever light key we're talking about. So we could be talking about the physical, the mental, the emotional, the soul, the energy. It all applies. It's also like, it's not like It's just this one time. You guys want one of my drawings? This process, these alchemical processes, it's not like, and I mean, I know we would love it to be like this, right? Actually, no, better yet, we would love it to just be like this, right? Oh, look, we started, we went through awareness, we went through decision, we went through activation of truth, alchemy, expansion, boop, right? We would love it to be like this neat, orderly little trip of this, but it's more like this. Okay, so one cycle stage of alchemy is like this, but what happens is this is what's actually going on right now. And each one of these circles and cycles, one's going to be the physical body, one's going to be that chronic pain in your shoulder or your neck, one's over here is going to be your people pleasing, another one is going to be that trauma that you don't want to deal with, this one over here is going to be your self-doubt, this other one might be those body image issues, this one might be the abandonment. All right, and they're all getting poked at, right? They're all pointing us to a limiting belief, a limiting mindset, or a trauma. And the first thing we do is we become aware, right? We recognize, we then decide we want to do something about it. Now, please get every one of you that is receiving these transmissions, you are already past awareness and decision. You wouldn't be here if you weren't, right? Decision was like you came here, you showed up, you watched the replay, you decided. So you're now moving into your activation of truth, your alchemy, and so on. Okay. What we're doing today is we're going to do a little bit of alchemy and activation of truth. And I'm going to send you all on your way to start seeing how that drops in and becomes and starts to get embodied for you all this week. And then on Friday, we're going to move into the mindset piece of it, getting the conscious and the subconscious on board so you can truly move into that expansion and elevation, right? This is all a process. Please get that alchemy on one thing can take months. For me, the alchemy, I'm going to use my money codes, okay, my abundance codes. So for me, my abundance code activation, like truly moving from lack and scarcity and poverty grids, full matrix slave grids when it came to money, to new earth, like abundance grids, that process actually took me like just under 3 years. Okay. And I'm sharing that with you because that's the thing, right? Through doing this work, through coming, through learning from me, through receiving from me, it gets to accelerate your journey. You don't have to go out and make all the mistakes that I made and have it take years. But I'm sharing that with you because I want you guys to recognize, because there's also another kind of false light template out there that like, oh, it's just always going to be fast and easy. And if it's not, and something comes back up for you to deal with, you're somehow messing it up. That's false too, you guys. The alchemy it takes as long as it takes. You're undoing years, decades, and lifetimes of matrix programs, wounds, traumas. Like some of it's going to take time. It might take 6 months. It might take 8 weeks. It might take a day. It might take a year. Trust that it's happening perfectly for you. But that's why, right? That's why it's so important to have support around you, because when we're doing it on our own and it's not, or it's taking an extended amount of time, it's very, very easy to start to doubt the process. Okay. Give me a yes if you know you have ever doubted the process. Right. So even awareness, like people, I have talked to people who have been in awareness for fucking 5 years. I know people who started following my content 5 years ago when I started doing this, and they were in awareness. Alex, you're here. Hello. Right. They were in awareness 5 years ago, and guess where they still are at? They're still in awareness. Can I just I just want to let that land for a second. And I want to ask each of you if you are willing to sit in awareness for 5 years? Are you willing to spend 5 years of your life looking at something that you're doing, looking at a program that is running, and being afraid to make a decision to shift into more, right? And that's why I want to commend you guys, because I want you all to recognize the courage codes and the dedication codes and the devotion codes to living your purpose in your own evolution, to be able to make the decision and actually move into action and activation. You guys, it's rare. It's rare. There are so many people out there sitting in awareness and being controlled by their fear of making the wrong decision, maybe, right? They're just whatever it is. And again, not from a place of judgment, right? Their paths are perfect for them. Maybe that's what they're here to experience, and that's perfect for them. However, I know that for me, I would never in a million years be satisfied if I did that. I know I'm here for more. And I cannot let life pass me by. That's just me and that's just my nature. And I am unwilling to sit back. I would rather make the wrong choice 10 times over, fall on my face 100 times than not do anything, than stay sitting there wondering what if. Give me a yes if that lands for you, right? That you would rather fall on your face because you chose wrongly, quote unquote, than sit there wondering what you could have done and been and had. Have to know I tried. Exactly, Lori. Yes, right? That gets me really emotional. I feel that in my heart space because I want so badly for everybody to want to step into their greatness. And every single day I have to do the work to allow to allow beautiful souls that I know to be where they are and be in their journey. I can, however, show up in full force for those of you that are ready to take the action and the activation. I can show the fuck up for you guys that are ready, and that's my work, right? Oh, it's such a beautiful ride, truly. Okay. So we're going to chat a little bit about emotional guidance scale because I just want to take a few minutes for your minds to get on board with what we're about to do. Okay. Because we're going to be doing a timeline process today where we're going to let consciousness guide. And what we're essentially doing is looking for anchor points to these lower density emotions. So a little note on our emotions. Our emotions are so caught up in the belief systems and matrix programs, right? That like our emotions are bad, anger is bad. Share with me in the comments, please, because this is part of the clearing process for the mind to prep the mind to receive this activation. So share with me in the comments some of the matrix programs or the limiting belief programs that you know you have around emotions. So maybe it's like, that crying is bad or wrong. Maybe it's that you're always supposed to be happy. Maybe anger is bad, wrong, scary, whatever it might be. Sadness is weakness. Just drop some of those in because I want to get a feel and an idea for kind of the programs that are running for each of you so I can attune this activation to you all. Supposed to be the happy, strong, funny one. Always. Yeah, right? I relate. What else, you guys? Nobody loves people who get upset or angry. Okay, so if I have emotions, I'm unlovable. Yeah, totally, right? Beautiful. Good. So while you guys are typing those out, a note on emotions, okay? So there are the emotions we feel in each moment. Okay, something happens and I feel an emotion and then I move through it and then I move on with it and then cool, right? That's part of everyday life. That's the human experience. We're never going to not have that. Where this becomes a problem and what we're focusing on today is where these points of lower density emotions have become like rocks. Do you guys remember I talked about rocks in our first session? So, where have these lower density emotions become like boulders or cement calcified in your body and your energy field? That's what we're looking at today. Oh, being too nice is a bad thing. Beautiful. And David, how common is that one for men too, right? That like if men are nice or kind or sensitive, that oh, you're weak, it's you're gonna get taken advantage of, right? Nice guys finish last. Sad, Candace, happy. Yeah. Okay. Alex, always supposed to be the positive, strong, level headed one. Okay. Exactly. Right. So, can you guys start to see like the patterns here? There's like this overwhelming narrative, this matrix program of like, you're bad or wrong if you have emotions. Now, truly, have you guys ever noticed that in magic movies, Harry Potter, Once Upon a Time, that series, I love that series, all of these movies where they work with magic, one of the keys they always tell us is that magic is connected with emotions. Okay. So imagine for a second, here we are, and we're these beautiful divine creators. We're these high, multidimensional, high frequency, infinite intelligence souls that come down here to human form to have a life on earth. We get this highly quantum technology of a body to cruise around in. And let's just say maybe there are some factions on planet Earth who want to keep everybody in lower dimensional reality because it serves their purpose. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, there's that. Maybe they're just humans and they just want power, money, and control. Maybe there's something more. And it's through our emotions and our mind and our energy and our consciousness expanding that we expand into holding hypothetically more high frequency consciousness, which allows us to break free and fully be able to understand that we have the power to create whatever we desire. All of a sudden, the status quo is threatened. The system that has been in place, that is very much rooted in hierarchy, is now threatened. Right? So, do you think that they're going to let, hypothetically speaking, are those beings that sit on the top of that hierarchy that thrive when everybody else is in low density, powerlessness, slave grid, matrix bullshit? Do you think those few at the top are going to allow that to happen easily? I'll cheat and I'll give you the answer. No, they're not, right? Because they believe that it's a threat to them. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't fully know who or what they are. Okay. I don't care. I just know that I'm choosing that I get to move into sovereignty and I get to lead others into sovereignty who want to expand into their higher consciousness state and fully recognize, call back their energy, remove their plugins, stop playing in that game, because we can only play in the game if we're agreeing to it. Right. And when we no longer agree to play in the game and we start going through this process of evolution, awakening, ascension, we have to be willing to unplug from that, let them do their thing, right? And I'm not saying we don't take a stand for what is important to us. Of course we do. That's why I do this work, right? But we do it from choice. So how do we do it from choice? We do it from choice by clearing out the puppet strings. Okay, the puppet strings are reactions the things that allow us to be controlled and manipulated are those rocks, those anchor points of these lower dimensional emotions. Okay. So if these people understand that it's through our heart field and through our emotions and through our deep feelings that we're actually going to move into our power, what's one of the first programs they're going to put into action? Right? It's going to be, hey, emotions are bad. Don't look over there at those things. Don't, like, let's look over here. Squirrel, 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 squirrel again. David, that's important, right? Because I'm telling you guys, it's not just words they're speaking when you watch the news. There's frequency, there's energy, there's vibration. All right. So my invitation for you guys this week is to start looking at, do you feel, when you guys are listening to this, when we're talking about this, when you guys are receiving the frequencies that are being shared with you through these webinars, do you feel expansive or contracted? Like, do you feel hopeful? Do you feel happy? Do you feel light? Or do you feel like, ooh, I don't like what she's saying? Right? I want you all to start reflecting on this week, because this is going to go hand in hand with our activation today. Because what we've been conditioned to do is continuously go for the things that contract us. Let me turn on that news. Let me go hang out with that person that complains. Let me go over to the person who brings up all the stuff in me, because that's the trauma response. All right, you guys. Now, please get, when I say trauma response, again, like I said last week, I don't necessarily mean it's a war or a huge abuse. Like, there are so many small things that have like compounded trauma in us. All right. Because what happens is, an event happens, we have the emotion, we then ignore the emotion, we don't process it. All the emotion is energy that wants to move and be free and go, and we don't let it. Over time, every time we don't allow those emotions to move like energy needs to, it becomes like cement in our field, in our physical body, in our mental body, and in our emotional body. Have you guys ever wondered metaphysically why heart disease, well, I guess pre-COVID, heart disease was the leading cause of death, especially in America? It's not just because nobody's hearts want to work, and it's not just because of our diet, right? It's literally the physical manifestation of what I'm telling you right here. Anger, pain, fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, insecurity, unworthiness, jealousy, hatred, resentment, all of these deep, dense emotions felt, compounded over time, over time, over time, over time, not moved, not expressed, boom, 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 through the generations. It's like cement in our energy fields. Eventually, what's going on in our energy field comes into our mind. It determines what kind of thoughts we think. It comes into our emotional body, and then it comes into our physical body. If you think about cement in an energy field, what is that going to do physically to our heart and our vessels, right? Calcification, contraction. It's all connected, right? It's all connected. And our emotions and our loops have such a huge play in this. All right. And again, it's not about, okay, I got angry in that moment and I let it go. That's perfect. We want to learn how to do that. We want to learn how to feel the emotions, let the energy move, process through it, send it on its way. Off we go. Every emotion serves a purpose, but we can't get to understanding those purposes until we clear out the fucking closet. Right? So what happens is, we've got all this density, all this gunk, all this cement that the light is coming in, it's shining out on it, and it's a little bit like this. Okay? Here's what's happening. We're getting cracked open. It's not always going to feel good. It's going to be bumpy. That's why we're doing this. That's why I'm offering this. That's why I do the work that I do. I want you guys to please, please, please recognize that even if at times it feels bumpy, it feels chaotic, it feels painful, that's okay too. It's normal. It's part, this is how we go through ascension. Okay? You do have a choice. You can go through this process completely passively and just let it happen. In which case, you'll go along the journey. You may sometimes understand, you may sometimes recognize. It's going to happen regardless. Okay? You can't mess this up. Remember that. You can choose to be proactive and take command of your journey, that's my personality, right? I don't want to be passive. I want to be part of it. I want to actively be engaging in it. And that's why I love this work. Okay. So for those of you that want to be proactive, that you want to be in command and engaged in an understanding of your ascension process, you're the ones that are ready to come and do the work, right? Come and coach, come and join the portal. Or we can resist. In which case, who was it? Lori who said it, or Patty who said it before, right? Like, you've just been getting like pummeled and then it's like spraying everywhere, because that's what happens, right? You guys, if we don't and we resist, that's when the Niagara Falls thing from last week is going to happen. All right. Do you want to go down the lazy river? Do you want to have a steering wheel in your lazy river? Or do you want the universe to send you down the lazy river with a fucking high-powered fire hose because you're resisting? That's an awesome analogy. So which one do you all want? All right. Not Splash Mountain, right? Like, don't you kind of want the one that has like some rapids, it has some lazy parts, it has a steering wheel, you get to take a part in it, right? That's the one I want. All right, so coming back to our oh, and that's the other thing. Thank you. Somebody said it. Lori, I didn't think I had trauma because it wasn't huge. All right, so I just want to revisit this before we move into our healing activation. I want a fucking steering wheel. Yes. Trauma is simply a moment where we had a heightened negative emotional state. And in that heightened negative emotional state, we made a decision about ourselves and about life. And then those decisions that we make become the commands of our subconscious. And we're going to get more into that on Friday. And those commands become the anchor points to the lower timeline versions of ourselves. Not that these versions of ourselves are bad or wrong. They're just lower timeline. They're unconscious. They're lower vibrational. Now, I don't know about you all, but do you want to have the human experience where you feel in charge of your life, you feel in command of your life, you understand who you are and what you want to create, and you understand how to create it, and that you navigate through it? Just when upsets happen, you know how to handle them, you know how to handle your emotions, you're healthy, you're vibrant, you're abundant, you're living your purpose, and you're doing your thing? Or do you want to live in that being pulled back and forth? Oh, I know it, but now I'm in doubt. I know it, but now I'm in doubt. Or I'm in response and now I'm in reaction. I'm in response and I'm in reaction, right? Which do you want? Because it's those anchor points to our lower timeline selves that keep us in that oscillation. Okay. So everything that we've talked about today comes full circle here, right? That oscillation of this 4D bridge, remember? That stops being like this when we start to unplug the anchors and get the consciousness expansion to understand what's happening, right? So when we understand and we blend that with unplugging the anchors, we cruise through 4D. It's still like a roller coaster sometimes, but we enjoy the ride because we're no longer getting jerked around like a puppet against our will. Doesn't that sound good to you guys? Because I know for me, I couldn't wait to be free from that, like getting jerked around. All right. That is the me I see, the abundant creator who has clipped all the strings. Yes, yes, and yes, Lori. Thank you. So when it comes to feeling your emotions, I want you all to tell me, when you think about feeling deeply and understanding how to use your emotions, what is the first thought that comes up? I'm just going to wait for you guys to respond. Empowering, scared and crying. Patty, can you elaborate on that? Like, are you saying you're scared of fully feeling your emotions, or you're afraid if you do that that's what's going to come up? Judgment of others if I show it. Okay, good. So can you all start to imagine being able to be in your emotions and use them as the powerful creative force that they are? Powerful. I send love to everyone and everyone benefits from it. Yeah, like, can you guys start to see, right, how that is? And so my final question for you all before we move into our activation is any one of you feeling like you don't want to be in your power? Because there's no going back from this moment. If you do this activation, right, it's going to activate an awareness within you. And I just want the verbal confirmation of, yeah. So everybody give me a yes in the comments if you fully feel like you are ready to move more into your power and release some of your anchors. Obviously, right, this is one session we're doing today. Obviously, this is not like the one thing that's going to just release it all, but that you are ready to create some space around knowing who the fuck you are. Yes, I'm ready. Awesome. Good, good, good. Carrie, hi. So ready. Beautiful. All right. If you all can give me one word in the comments before we move into our activation, I want to know what is the one thing, or one thing, not the one thing, but what is one thing that you feel is currently stopping you from being in your purpose? Like, is it doubt? Is it um not knowing yourself? Is it like, what do you feel like it is? Fear? Okay, good. Lack of belief, doubt, yeah. Judgment of others. Okay, so like, yeah, a lot of fear. Self-doubt, comparison, fear. Okay, a lot of commonalities. Fear of quitting smoking. It's scary, right, when we have to give up a habit? So what's attached to that habit that you're afraid to let go of? Cool. All right, just tuning in for a second here. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is a timeline process. And in long story short, outside of the third dimension, time doesn't exist. So linear time, the way that we play in it, it's a construct, which is why when we bypass it and we allow ourselves to expand out into our consciousness and learn how to play in the quantum realm, we can bypass time, meaning we can visit the past, we can visit the future, which allows us to shift and change things. And when we change things from the past, it allows us to access a new perspective in the now. Okay, because if you're standing here and from this place there's certain stories running, you can only see this. there's doubt, there's fear, there's all these things. So if you go back in time and you shift a moment and your perspective of a moment, what then happens to this version of you in this now moment is that you start to see more of the truth. Contraction makes us doubt the truth. Expansion makes us see and recognize the truth. When we move our anchors from the past, those lower timeline versions of ourselves, we see more of the truth. And because your subconscious mind is a direct portal to infinite intelligence, I mean, it is infinite intelligence. It's like the direct portal to the quantum realm. That's why they don't fully understand the power of the subconscious. But metaphysically speaking, the subconscious mind it's like, it's the creator, it's the power, it's the driving force that will create whatever you direct it to create. This gets messed up because deeply embedded in our conscious mind, we have these commands that are commanding the subconscious to create the very things that we don't want. Okay? So if we've got fear, if we've got doubt, if we've got all these programs running, what we then end up creating is just more shit that makes us doubt, more shit that makes us fear. Okay? So we're going to do a process today that's going to support you in shifting one of those anchors perfectly. And so I ask you all to just trust the process. So get up for a moment if you want to shake it out. I'm just gonna, right? Get up, move your body for a second. Let's clear the cache, right? And I want you to just go ahead and tell me in the comments, what was your favorite thing that you've learned so far? Biggest aha, favorite takeaway. And then we're just going to take a minute. I want you guys to prepare yourselves. I'm just going to pause this for a moment. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So we're going to, emotions are not a bad thing. Yes, a lot. There's no matter how bumpy the road is, it gets to the same spot. Beautiful. I joined in late, but I got beautiful for your time and space. Beautiful. Good, good, good. All right. So I want you guys to shake out your body for a moment, take some breaths. I want you to just get into your body, drop out of your mind, right? We've been doing all the talking, and now we're going to do this beautiful process. When you are ready, I want you to sit back. Now you can totally lie down for this if you like. I want you to sit back. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take a big breath into your belly and let it go. Another big breath into your belly. Pause at the top of this inhale. And let it go. And another big breath into your belly. And I want you to let it go. Good. Bringing your hands to your heart. Go ahead and place one hand over the other on your heart center. Sitting up nice and tall if you're sitting. If you're lying down, just elongate your spine, breathing into your heart space. And just taking a moment here before we begin to just recognizing the perfection in this moment. Recognizing each and every one of you as a beautiful, infinite creator outside of this physical body, recognizing each of you as more than your physical bodies, more than this human, so much more. Recognizing the power that each and every one of you has to be a conscious creator of your reality. Recognizing that your direct connection each of you being a direct fractal of source consciousness, creating that you have the very same power and access to the intelligence that created the earth, that holds the earth in perfect balance, that keeps our heart beating, our lungs pumping air, recognizing the intelligence of this human body we inhabit, the perfect composition of the air we breathe. All of that intelligence flows through you. Each and every one of you recognizing in this moment that you are a direct connection, a direct fractal of that intelligence, and that you have the power to direct and command that same intelligence to create whatever it is you desire in your lives. And as you breathe into your heart, I want you to just think in gratitude, seeing that it is done, seeing yourself living your purpose, seeing yourself living in freedom, knowing that it is done, it is done, it is done, because where we focus, we create. And in this moment, borrowing my trust and my knowing and my faith that every single one of you is here to do amazing things and to be a bright light and live your purpose and speak your truth and be who you came here to be. Just knowing that it is done. Good. And then just allowing your hands to rest down by your sides. And just in your conscious mind now, in your mind's eye, I want you to just travel back to your past. I want you to just travel back to an unspecified moment, just thinking of something in your past, maybe from years ago, maybe from a week ago, maybe from childhood, just trusting. You're just going back. You're just seeing moments, seeing, healing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, observing. Maybe it's a memory, maybe it's a moment, maybe it's a room, maybe it's a place you visited. It's all perfect. Just witnessing the past of your life. Good. And then I want you to just bring yourself back into this moment, and you're going to go out to an unspecified time in your future where you're just observing now some moment in your future, no time, no place. You just know it's the future. Maybe you're older. Maybe you see yourself somewhere you always wanted to go, having an experience you always wanted to experience, and that's perfect too. And then just coming back into this moment and just recognizing that in this moment, in this experience, you just went into the past and you just went into the future because it's real. It is there. It exists beyond the realm of our two conscious eyes and our intellect. And now as you breathe in, I want you to just bring to your awareness, setting the intention for what anchor you would like to clear today. It doesn't have to be something that's super deep. It can be something smaller, just trusting, because knowing that after you clear it, you may have feelings to release. So it can be perfect just for you, letting consciousness guide you. Maybe it's the root of that doubt. Maybe it's just that fear of being yourself, fear of what others will think. And just setting and holding in your intention, releasing the anchor to that program today. And then in your mind's eye, as you see that pattern playing out in your life, the doubt, the fear, whatever it is, I want you to go ahead, and if you were to know what age this started, just without thinking, the first number that comes to mind, 1, 2, 3, say it out loud so you can hear yourself. Go ahead. What is the age? Good. And now in your mind's eye, we're going to be floating back to a moment. You're walking along a path, you're drifting along a path. Maybe it's through a forest, maybe it's through the clouds. Just walking past moments in your life where maybe this pattern played out. And then you find yourself drifting above a moment in your life, looking down a moment where you were that 3-year-old, that 5-year-old, that 7-year-old, that 9-year-old, whatever it might be, that perfect age, trusting exactly what you see, feel, hear. Maybe this is more unconscious, and that is perfect too. Trusting that you are receiving exactly what you need. The present you is looking down on this moment of your life. And then the next moment, I want you to go ahead and drop down into that moment where that younger you is having an experience. And as you drop down into that moment, that younger you, looks at the present you. And as you look upon that younger you, I want you to go ahead and intuitively give that version of you whatever it was they needed. What was going on in this moment that caused this younger you to choose doubt, fear, self-suppression, self-censorship, limitation? And I want you to give yourself what you needed. Maybe allow that younger you to tell you what they needed. Maybe they just needed to understand that there was actually other options available of what to believe. Maybe they just needed to process that emotion. And I want you to just allow for that. Maybe you're having a conversation with them. Maybe you're just passing them understanding, perspective through your frequency. And maybe they're just releasing the frequency of whatever that emotion was. And just taking your time with that. Just requesting support from my Sirian and Arcturian friends. Each of these beings being placed in a healing chamber to support this process. Activating the Arcturian Sirian healing matrix as well. And then I want you to go ahead and I want you to tell this younger version of you how you're from the future. And that you know how amazing and awesome they're going to be because look, you're here to prove it. And you came back in time for them because they are so important. And they are so capable and so worthy. Good. And then in this next moment, I want you to ask this younger version of you if they would like to come with you or do they want to stay there? And if they say yes, they would like to come, I want you to scoop them up. And if they're not ready to leave yet, that's okay too. I want you to give them a big hug. I want you to ask them why. And if they just need reassurance, I want you to give it to them. I want you to ask what else they need to be ready to come with you. And I want you to give that to them. It gets to be that easy. This is frequency. Okay. Now go ahead and scoop them up. You're all going to travel back, just calling in the beautiful expanded perspective, higher consciousness. Each of these beautiful souls to shine the light of truth and perspective now. And you see this gold light guiding you back to this moment. And as this golden frequency is guiding you, you're noticing that it's shifting out into all of your life. And it's just changing ever so slightly, expanding perspectives, showing you different things about your life. And then you come back into this moment, into your heart space, where you're going to rest this beautiful small version of you into your heart, where they are going to rest gently and be so loved and supported. And then I want you to go ahead and I want you to create a beautiful area for this younger you to live, to stay, to be. And in this space, they get whatever they want. Do they want books, unicorns, rainbows, plants, nature? Is it out in the forest? Is it a real room? Just give them that. And then I want you to go ahead and I want you to ask that younger you how they would like to contribute to you living your purpose. How would they like to be part of your life? And I want you to receive whatever that answer is. And maybe it's a knowing directly right now, and maybe it'll be something that comes through later, and that's okay too. And then I want you to take one more journey with this version of you, this younger you, and you're going to roll out to an unspecified time in your future again. Maybe it's a couple weeks, couple months, next year, whatever it is perfect. And you find yourself floating above this moment in your future, looking down on it just before it, and you're noticing where in the past you would have been triggered into doubt or fear or silencing yourself or choosing limitation. But now, because you have brought this part of you forward, you're choosing something different. And I want you to notice what you're choosing that's different. What's different in your life? What has opened up for you because you've released this anchor? What's possible? What are you doing? How is that younger you contributing to what you're doing? And on a soul level, I want you to go ahead and now choose that. Lock it in, lock it in. Good. And then in this next moment, you're going to drop down into this version of you. You're going to step into them. 1, 2, 3, go ahead. And I want you to notice as you step into this version of you, what's different. How do they feel in their body? What emotions are present? What type of thoughts do they think? How does their energy field feel? What codes are present in their light body? And then I want you to tune in. And I want you to just receive any guidance or direction on what you need to focus on, do, become. What is the work? What is the next code? What do you need to activate in yourself? Where is your work? Where is your next indicated step into becoming this version of you now? What is the next indicated step for you to quantum shift into this version of you faster? Is there work? Is it a skill set? Is there a book you need to do? Is there a vacation you need to take? Is there a coach you need to work with? Is there a job you need to quit? Is there a person you need to talk to? Is there something you need to say? There are no right or wrong answers here. Trusting that what you get for your next indicated thing is perfect. And trusting that if you don't receive that answer now, you will receive it later. Making the decision to trust that. And then staying merged with this version of you, coming back to this moment, dropping back into your heart center, tuning back into your heart portal. I want you to just now be with this frequency. Be with this potential. Allowing those codes to be activated, tuning back into your light body, Feeling those codes dropping in from your light field. Knowing that you're also being supported very much on a quantum level here. Feeling yourself plugged into the grid of this container, this activation right now. And I want you to just see yourself putting the fear, the doubt, whatever that program is. I want you to see it as an object. Maybe it's a shape, maybe it's a record, maybe it's a pair of sunglasses because it's like a filter you've been looking through. And I want you to just see yourself putting that into the grid. Chuck it in the bucket that is in this grid. Release it. Put it down. Let it go. And then in this next moment, I want you to choose from this grid where all possibilities exist. What do you want to choose instead? Is it trust, confidence, knowing? Letting that drop into your field now, and on a soul level, choosing that. Good. And in this next moment, breathing into your belly. Exhale it out, let it go. Breathing it into your heart field. Exhale it out, let it go. And your next breath, breathing it into your third eye, your mind's eye. Exhaling it out, letting it go. Good. Good. Anchoring that down into the root, plugging you into the earth plane, sharing this activation with all versions of you through time and space. The support of Gaia consciousness, the light councils of Gaia. Seeing this activation plug up into your crown, your soul star, shared through all versions of the quantum, and also making the same activation available for anyone who is ready for it. Good. When you're ready, open your eyes, come on back. I want you to get up. I want you to drink some water. I want you to move your body. I want you to take another big breath into your belly. And I want you to make any sound that feels like it needs to come out. Maybe you just need to go like, ah. Maybe you need to yell. Maybe you just need to be like, ah. I want you to do it. Whatever it is, as ridiculous as it feels, this is part of the release. Maybe you want to just go, there's no sound that's wrong or right. Just make some sound. Let yourself express it, release it, shake out your body. And when you are ready, I would love to hear from you in the comments how that was for you. I would love to hear if you felt visual or if it was more of a knowing or if it was unconscious. I would love to hear anything you feel comfortable to share. What did you choose new for yourself? What did you release? And then we're just going to talk a little bit about how to integrate this for a couple of minutes. I'll open up if you guys have any questions. And we will close it out today. So I do want you all to know that hello, oh my goodness. I want you guys to know that what you experienced today was very real. I want to speak to the fact I need to be the fixer. Yes. Beautiful, Lori. So what becomes available for you, Lori, if you're not trying to fix everyone else? What's possible? Self-doubt about myself. So beautiful. If you're not in self-doubt about yourself, David, what becomes possible? What do you get to do? Who do you get to be if you're not doubting yourself? Yeah. And what becomes possible there? Lori, right? If you're not, get to focus on your needs, right? And Lori, if you're meeting your needs, what becomes possible for you? Who do you get to be in the world? And how much more deeply do you get to show up if you're fully in a full cup? So all those people that you want to fix and save and people please for, if you're in a full cup, energized and in your power, I get to be the real me. Yeah. And how much more deeply do you think you get to serve the people you love if you're the real you? Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that you do more for people by being the real you, or the contracted, stressed out, aggravated, resentful, low vibe you? Full heartedly, right? What do you all think serves more? Contracted, dense emotions, or love, self care, expansion, and high frequency? Love always serves more. We often can't be in love when we're trying to control everyone and everything. There's a vision, Candace. Beautiful. Great. Love. And it has to start with us, you guys. That's the thing. Okay. So next on Friday, when we go into the mind, we're going to be talking a lot about how we project out what we are. This is where it gets challenging, right? Because we don't want to actually look at our own negativity. So we often don't want to admit that we are creating the negative, sucky things in our lives, but we are, right? And it just comes from the distortion. So for integration, you guys, it's going to be really, really, really important to breathe into your heart several times a day, to connect with and ground. I want you to go and I want you to journal, drink lots of water, because this is releasing out of your emotional and physical field. Water is going to help you do that. Journal, ground, breathe, rest. I want you to remember those stages, right? Because as we move from alchemy, in the alchemical process, that's when like stuff can get, right? The light is shining in. So what may happen is, as you go forth in this week, you may start noticing all of the places where you were in that old limiting command. Now, as you notice it, those are the moments to choose what you newly chose in each moment. That's how you collapse the timeline. If you find yourself going into judgment and frustration, you're only serving to anchor back into the timeline. So remember, over and over and over again, you choose love, you choose compassion, you choose the higher version of yourself. Yes, exactly, Patty. It has nothing to do with you. So can you see the expanded perspective of that? Someone else's judgment is not about you. Right. It's about them. And the beautiful thing is the more we stop judging ourselves, when we no longer judge ourselves, we don't even attract people that judge us. I'm sure they're out there. You guys, I am sure there are people out there who judge me. That's fine. I don't actually have them in my experience. They don't pop up in my field. They don't pop up in my life. They're just not there. I'm sure they're there, but they're outside of my conscious awareness because I'm no longer judging myself. So because I no longer judge myself, there's no magnet pulling the judgmental people in. The first step to that is recognizing that, yes, even if they do pop up, it has nothing to do with us. That's the beauty. That's the expanded perspective. So you guys, this is only the beginning. Only the beginning. Right? This is a brand new potential that you guys have activated for yourselves. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys some links here. One is going to be the link to the replays. Copy them and paste them. One is going to be the link to the Facebook group, and one is going to be the link to book a call with me so we can chat if you know in your heart already that you want to go deeper into this work. Okay? Because some of you are already going to know this. And I celebrate you. So if you know you want to go deeper into this work, there's your link to book a call. Here is your link for all the replays so you guys can revisit this. And then, of course, after our last 2 live transmissions, they'll get uploaded in there. You guys are going to get the link sent to you for the live transmissions on Friday and next Monday. Those will come to your email just like today. And then the Facebook group, so you guys can come hang out, connect, share your takeaways, get community, is here. All right, who has any questions? I just want to take a minute here. If you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to drop them in the chat. If you guys would like to share anything in closing, I would love to hear your takeaways from today. What did you love? Did you love the activation? Did you love the discussion? What are you most looking forward to on Friday as we start talking about the conscious and the subconscious, how to align them, and really start teaching you how you create your reality? What are you guys most excited for? What have you loved the most in session 1 and session 2? And I'll just hang for a minute here and see if you guys have any questions, because I know sometimes there's a little lag. While I'm waiting for that, I really will just say, thank you all for showing up, because like I said in the beginning, I'm not lying. I'm not just saying it to make you feel good. That through you showing up for this, like, you're already moving into your courage and your dedication, because so many people are sitting and not making a decision. They're waiting for somebody else to do it for them. And the fact that you all are here and invested time out of your day to come and do these webinars, like, that in itself shows me just how advanced and courageous you are as a soul, and how dedicated you are to be willing to step into this and take part in this and be a part of this, to allow you to start receiving what you need to receive to move into your ascension and your evolution. And that just like that's like the squee moment. I just want to hug you all. And when I'm speaking to you all on these webinars, I envision that you're actually sitting right there in front of me. And it is my hope that you all can feel the love coming from my heart for all of you, and the excitement knowing that you guys are all just starting out on this journey, and that, oh God, there's just so much waiting for you. And I cannot wait to connect with you all more on Friday, to talk to some of you about coming and joining the portal so we can work together more deeply and really just embark on this healing work. And yay, loved comforting my younger self and giving them peace. It's so, so, so important. Thank you, Patty, for saying that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lori, exactly where I'm supposed to be. Yes. Beautiful, you guys. I love you all. Go forth, be wildly you, have it all, be in your magic. If you know anybody that would benefit from these webinars, share them. You guys can share that link to the replays. Share, 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 share. We got to get this work out there, because that is how we're going to awaken the world into their purpose. All right. I love you all. I will see you Friday. Stay tuned. Post in the Facebook group your takeaways. Notice what's happening this week. Watch for my emails. Yes, wildly you. That is my fucking mission statement. Creating a world of people that are wildly, authentically themselves. Beautiful souls, I thank you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.